Hello everyone, it's GBPirate here with an update for the CoH World Builders Mapping Competition 2024. So first of all, we've had another bit of a delay. It's unfortunate, I know, but we've had some issues. I've had some, IRL things to deal with. So we're kind of just pushing things back further. But that being said, the maps are being voted on by the judges right now. I'm asking that the judges submit their scores by April 4th on Thursday. And then by Sunday, April 7th, I will have an update out for everyone, which will have the scores and the mapper reveals and the prize pool. So, just stick with us for the next week or so. Like I said, maps were eventually. I didn't update this before with on YouTube, but I did push things back another week. So the maps were due Thursday, March 21st. And last weekend, I got the forms out for the judges to fill out. And because I've just had issues finding time to kind of sit down and plan out this video, and kind of make a YouTube announcement, whatever, I just wanted to push things back again. And also, just have the judges get, have as many judges as possible get their votes cast. That's just a quick thing. Expect a video from me Sunday, April 7th that has the final scores, the prize pool, awards and everything. And that'll be the end of the CoH World Builders Mapping Competition. So once again, judges, if you're watching this and you haven't already voted for your maps, please vote. I know in our judge chat in the World Builders Discord, I've put in your kind of the spreadsheet that has your name and the list of categories you signed up for. So if you signed up for all 4 categories, you've got 8 maps to score. If you signed up for one category, you got anywhere from 1 to, I think, 3 maps to score. So some of you signed up for multiple categories. That's great. But just keep in mind, it'd be really nice just to get your vote in, get the points collected, just so we can have as much kind of opinion there as possible and not have just a few people decide things. So I'm going to show you the rubric really quick. I don't want to walk through it in too much detail because it's only for the judges, but I've kind of based it on an old rubric from 2014 that I know Monolithic Bacon used for the 2014 mapping competition in CoH 2. I don't know if he created it. I'm assuming so, but I just wanted to give that credit. As you can see here, we've got kind of 3 different categories, and in the 2014 in the original rubric, everything was kind of weighed equally. You got like 0 points for the left side category, 1 point for the middle category, and 2 for the right side category. But I wanted to do something a bit different. I wanted to kind of account for different things, kind of weight things less equally and give certain things more of a bias over others. So as you can see, the very first thing is base sector, and this is just basic stuff. Are there MG bunkers? Is there enough room in the base? Things like that. Because sometimes in these custom maps, it's easy to forget just how big or even how small they have to be. Sometimes the base sectors are way too big, but oftentimes they're just way too small. So for the judges, I've just listed some categories here. These are the things I kind of thought of. This wouldn't necessarily be everything that you'd want to consider. Like for example, there's nothing in here about painting your interactivity zone, which is kind of the black and white line on the edge of your map. But I don't think any maps have that issue, so I just didn't include it in this rubric. As you can see, the general pattern basically goes from the low score. You have things either aren't working, they aren't there, or they're just not good enough. They might be there might be a lot of issues with it. The middle section, passable, this is kind of like a 50% kind of mark, 50% and above. So things are there. There might be some issues here or there, but generally it works. It's not like there's something obviously wrong, but there are ways that things could be improved significantly. And then in the rightmost category for high score, essentially things are really good. There might be just a few tweaks here and there because, as you can see with the different categories, it's not just like 1 point. There's a bit of a range there. So you can say, oh, both these maps are really great, but I'm going to give one 10 points, and I'm going to give one 9 points because one, there's just something about that 10-point map that is just so much better. So I'll leave a link to this in the description down below. So if you're a judge or just random anybody want to check this out, maybe you want to use this in the future for your own competition, for a mapping competition, or even something else. It's a pretty nice format because it kind of lets you give certain examples of subcategories of things, and it lets you kind of arrange points in a way that isn't so exact, like 1, 2, 3. Although you can do it if you want to. Yeah, so the first category here, base sector, only worth 5 points. Next category, territory, worth 20 points. And I did that because I think territory layout, even though it's kind of simple from the road builder perspective, you just plot the points down, you kind of paint the territory map, and you're done. It's actually, you can have a good map be a great map if you just repainted the territory, or made the layout a little bit different. And then cover, I put this as 10 points. Maybe there's definitely an argument to make this like 50 points, especially in a 1v1 map, but I was just going with the flow, what I felt was important. And I've also updated some things with knowledge that I've learned from Monolithic Bacon and just playing Co3. So you have this new category of engagement spaces, and that's, as Bacon describes in the Mapmaking 101 tutorial, engagement spaces are like the areas in and around capture zones, especially along areas along that center line of a map where you're expecting the most combat to happen. But this also would include, like on a bridge map, like a bridge, or in a very mountainous map, it's a choke point. So it's where units are expected to kind of meet and clash pretty regularly. So especially about capture points, keeping heavy cover out of the capture points. That's how Co3 and Co2 really make the capping the point kind of like Co1, where you don't get the bonuses of heavy cover in the point, but if you step out of the capture zone, you can get that heavy cover bonus and have a better chance of winning the engagement. So that's just a big sticking point there. Map flow, about 15 points. Again, this is one of those things that's kind of hard to quantify, but I put in a few categories here that I thought were important. But yeah, like I said, you can go and read this on your own time, or if you're a judge, I'd say definitely delve into this, give this a good look over, because this is how we're breaking up the points. So this gameplay category, this first category, is 60 points. So that's about 60% of the final score. And then art is going to be 42 points. And there's a couple maps that don't have any water, so I just took out the water category. So in the maps where you don't have water, you're scoring out of 100 points. The maps with water, you're scoring out of 102 points. So the score you see here on the right hand side is approximately the percent. Yeah, the art is a bit more, I feel like, especially if you haven't used the mapping editor before, it's a bit harder to maybe not necessarily understand, but you just, especially with the atmosphere settings, there's like tons of atmosphere settings. So it's kind of hard to say, well, this value of the shadow intensity is too low. You might just say, oh, the shadows look a bit off, and that's fine. But if you want to dive into the editor, because the maps are available for the judges, you're more than welcome to do so. But that's by no means required. And yeah, I just wanted to put a few categories here, like atmosphere and lighting, ground textures, grass, out of balance area. I think that's important for really setting the wider scene, especially if you want to get those good like cinematic kind of screenshots, or I'm thinking of even like sometimes people midstream will kind of pan the camera down and get a screenshot of a unit, and if you just have nothing, it looks kind of janky. But if you have really cool mountains and hills and maybe even trees and buildings in the background, that screenshot goes from looking pretty okay to like, wow, we're like in this wider world, we're not just on a flat plane of earth duking it out until we die. But yeah, and then presentation map regions, that's kind of another category that I've picked up on, where you're really making your map not monotonous, not monotone. You're making certain areas stand out. And this can be done in a bunch of different ways. But also the presentation category is kind of a bit more generic. Like, I feel like especially as players, especially as top level players, you're not kind of consciously engaging with the art. It's kind of there in the background, where if you're a more casual player, you're watching the unit animations, you're watching the explosion effects more, which isn't to say one is better than the other. It's just when you're competitive, you're having to move around the map a lot to keep up. But yeah, so this is kind of a more fluctuating, I can't think of the right word, but a bit more of a less strict category, especially with that presentation in there. It's just, does the map look real? Is it interesting? Is it unique? So yeah, and especially map regions, that's important for telling where you are on the map at a given time. So like I said, if you want to check this out, if you're a judge, please check this out before scoring the maps, but you're by no means required to do so. And then real quick for the judges, I just wanted to show you what kind of the form will look like. So here you'll put in your name. I'm GBPirate. And then you'll, have an image of the map here. And I've got the rubrics here. You can always right click, open a new tab. Just so you can get a look at kind of the snapshot of the rubric base sector. And this is just taking the language from the rubric, putting it into this question form. So you choose a category, low, passable, or high, and then you can award the amount of points that you want to award based on the category you've selected. So you just scroll through. The first section is gameplay. So the second section is going to be the art. I just posted the entire rubric here. You can open that in a new tab and have a bigger version of it, or if you've got your phone or maybe a second monitor, you can always check that out on there to kind of have both screens open at the same time. And then yeah, you're just doing the same thing, filling out the number of points, filling out the category, and then filling out the number of points. And then there's a box here at the very end just to write additional comments or feedback, and then you can press the submit button and submit the map. And submit your scored form. Yeah, so about points and how we're awarding points. So essentially the way it works is that every judge will score the maps that they have signed up for. So sometimes if they've only signed up for 1v1, they're just scoring the 1v1 maps. So basically, whenever a judge essentially has 100 or 102 points to award. So we're basically going to count up the number of judges that have scored a map and then the number of points they're able to give. So for example, if we have 10 judges that score a map that has water on it, so the maximum 102 times 10 is 1020. So if the map received a total of 768 points, we're going to divide 768 by 1020, and we get 0.7529. So that means the map scored 75.29%. So then we're going to compare all the percents of every map, and then the highest percent wins. So the reason why we're not doing for example, Gray Shot's mapping competition, it had the judges kind of rank each map against each other. Which one was the first best, which one was the second best, third best, and so on. And that worked really well for that competition because it was only 4v4. But because we're doing this for every category, and also I was expecting more maps, to be frank, in the competition, so I didn't want to kind of overwhelm judges with having to, judge 20 different maps, for example, or 15 maps. So the way this percentage score works is it lets maps be ranked against each other in one category without having every judge have to rank every map. So there were some high-level 1v1 players that never play 4s, never play 3s, and they're really interested in just 1s and 2s. So I said, I think that'd be perfect just to let them rank the maps and the MOBs they're familiar with, and let kind of players that are more interested in the art or maybe more interested in team games, they can just rank the 4v4 and 3v3 maps. Um, yeah, so it's really just a way to put everything together and just score them based on in this method that really just lets all of the maps be in this one category, when in reality, trying to rank a 1v1 against a 4v4 map, there's just so many different things to consider. And sure, you can kind of clearly say, oh, this map played better than this other map. But I wanted to help break it down a bit and like I said, not overwork the judges, because I was assuming that there were going to be more maps submitted. Quick overview of the maps. So we have 8 maps, excuse me. In the 1v1 category, 2-player, we've got Ansaldo Genova and Colonia Rurale. We've got the 2-player version of, the 2v2 version of Colonia Rurale, Rapida River Valley, Santuario, and then in the 6-player version, we've got Sands of War, and then for 4 versus 4, we have Netuna Landing and Alam El Halfa. So once again, these maps are on the workshop. They're ready for you to test. Yeah, they're there. I'm really excited for people to play them, to give feedback. Even now that the competition's over, the mappers, I'm sure, Relic would look at the maps and not say, oh, I want to pick this one. There's still a few things here and there at a minimum they'd want to change, even in the best of the maps. So we're always looking for feedback, right? Next thing I want to talk about is the prize pool. So in total, we had $350 raised. So really quick, we had, this is in, I think, backwards order. So we had $50 from Tightrope. We had $75 from Grayshot 117. We've got $50 from Von Smedman. $10 from Project Gemini. I don't know who you are, but if you have like a more common username, let me know and I'll give you a future shout out. But I just wasn't able to tell who your Steam name or your Discord name was based on the information that I was given on the like donation pages and whatnot. But yeah, once again, thank you. We got $10.70 from Gunther09. We got $100 from White Flash himself, and then another about $65 from myself. I put in 50 plus a little bit extra to cover the kind of the PayPal fees. So with this quantity of $350, I wanted to break it down between the top 3 maps. So the first place prize is going to get 50% of the prize pool, which is $175. The second place map is going to get 30% of the prize pool, or $105. And the third place map is going to get 20% of the prize pool, or $70. And then just one final note about Colonia Rurale, because it's kind of 2 maps but in different categories, obviously by the same mapper. If for some reason they both make it into the top 3, which I doubt, only the top score will be taken into account. So if they get first and third, I'm not going to give the mapper, 50 plus 20%. I'm not giving them the first and the third place prize. I'm going to, knock the third place one out, and then the next one below will go up, because I don't want it to be unfair that way. Yeah. And once again, I think, that's everything I've got for today. So, that's everything for this update today, folks. If you'd like to play any of the 8 maps, they are on the workshop ready for you. I've already mentioned that. There are some strong contenders here, and even in the maps that could use more work, I've been told that the experience and feedback that the mappers have gained have already been put into good use in other projects. Down below in the description for the video, you can find all the relevant links to the competition, including but not limited to an invite to the CoH World Builders Discord, a link to the Steam Workshop, to the workshop collection that consists of all the maps in the competition. Once again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel for future updates. And, one last thing. If you don't have CoH 3 or you want to buy CoH 3 for a friend, you can follow the link down below. And then I'll also have a code down there. I don't remember it off the top of my head, but I'll have a code down there. If you input that at checkout, it'll give me a portion of of the the profits from the sale, and that'll go directly to me, supporting me and the channel and future mapping endeavors. Um, yeah, I just wanted to thank you all again for sticking with me, for giving feedback, for making the maps. To everyone in the community, thank you for just participating. Um, I know, especially recently, it's been kind of dark times for Co3, but overall, I'm really excited for what the future holds. I'm really optimistic that things are going to turn around. Not that they haven't already been turning around, but yeah, I just think Co3 is in a good spot, and by having these maps in the competition, um, and having the mappers work on them, and having some really great players and artists, sometimes like literal professional artists, um, give feedback to the mappers. I think that's making some really good maps that are going to be in the auto match pool in the coming months. So with that, I say once again, thank you for sticking with me, and take care.